Welcome to Live Breathe Film, episode 120. You're here with Doug and Murph. Thank you for joining us. Today we'll be conducting our summer box office draft where we compete with one another to predict which films will be the biggest of the season. And as always, a friendly reminder before we begin, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to Live Breathe Film wherever you choose to listen to your favorite podcasts. We appreciate all your support. All right, Doug. Things are pretty straightforward in this episode. We're doing our summer box office draft, and that is it. You want to run through the sort of intricacies around how we are basing our draft / pool?
Yeah, so this is obviously, like Murph, you said, this is our summer box office draft. So for folks that have been watching our drafts before, I think this is kind of like our Super Bowl of drafts. Just because summer is the time of year where you have typically some of your biggest drops. This is the time of year where movie theaters are expecting to make a lot of money and lots of people are looking to flock to the theaters. So it's usually a pretty um, that's usually a pretty big box office time of the year. As far as rules go, we're sticking with our $50 buy-in. The films that are eligible for either one of us to pick have to be films released between May 2nd or August 29th. Um, there's no stipulations this year or this draft as far as um, any specific rules about a movie that we think is just going to outperform everything else. I think we both agree it's kind of like it's an unknown as to which movie is going to really be the breakout, or if there's going to be multiple breakouts. There's definitely some movies that have bigger potential, but I think there's a lot of unknowns going into this. As far as like, I don't think I could safely say um, there's one
There's
movie that stands out
yeah,
above the
there's
rest.
there's definitely no obvious number one. When you said it was a coin toss, like that's literally how we determined who was picking first. And I mean, I think that sums up the summer well is that it's going to be a coin toss because there's always a breakout. You've proven me wrong in that where I'm like, I don't think anything's going to break out, but something every season breaks out. Um, I don't know which one that's going to be this time. You don't seem to know what it's going to be this time, but it
Nope.
does it does seem like the overall bar is higher than it was during the winter spring where we also weren't very confident in the big movies. But there was such a very small window of what could be big. While this one, there's a lot more that have potential.
Yep. No, I completely agree. Speaking of the coin flip, we did do the coin flip right before the draft, so neither one of us had too much time to plan as to what movies we were going to take in what order. I won or lost the toss, however you look at it, but I will be, as a result of the coin flip, I will be going first. Murphy will be drafting second. It's a snake type draft, so I will be pick one, you will be pick two and three, and so on. All right. I think
Yep.
that's probably the ground rules for the draft.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's as far as the movies go, we're not going to run through all of them. We basically included. I mean, we have Wikipedia's list of American films coming out that we use to, and then that we use to basically look at all the big movies coming out this summer. We wrote down well below 20, or way more than 20 of them that have potential to make money from all the major studios, along with like the bigger independent ones like A24 Neon, uh, and just anything that has like IP attached to it, whether it's coming from any of those studios or not. But ultimately, all that matters is the Big 20. Let's start it officially. 2025 Summer Box Office Draft. Here we go with the number one
all
pick.
right.
Doug
I'm
Lamont,
take
go.
I'm considering this to be a huge gamble. Um, that could really blow up in my face, which I typically don't like to play. I typically more of a play it safe type of drafter. Um, So a little outside of my comfort zone, but I'm going to do it. Probably make you very happy because it leaves a lot of good box office potential in play still for you. But I am going to pick for the first overall pick of the 2025 summer draft, Lilo and Stitch.
Okay. Um, yeah, I had that number 2 on my list. So not the most shocking pick in the world. I mean, we tend to be fairly on the same wavelengths.
Yeah,
I
there's a
mean,
movie. I know what your number one is too, which is what you're going to pick next. And that's what I likely struggle between your number one and number two on the list. I think the number one is probably what you're going to probably take next is the safer pick, just because it's guaranteed money. I'm just hoping that Lilo and Stitch winds up being a breakout. It's a kids movie. Seems like kids are excited to see this one. Um, the
yeah,
forecast is for the three
the
day
forecast played a
hop.
big part in what I was thinking. One of them is going to be an easy pick for me. The next one is going to be a little difficult, just because I feel like pretty insane with what I could potentially be leaving you with. But I'll do the easy pick, get that out of the way. Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yep,
Um, like you said, it's like guaranteed money at this point. Like
guaranteed 300 and something million
yep,
dollars.
exactly. Franchise is bulletproof. If it's actually good, imagine what it could do.
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, just based on the last 3 movies, you had ones that made 600 million, um, close to uh, in the high 400 millions, and then in the high 300 millions. Now with an all new cast and everything, um, with like a soft reboot, with the writer of the original 2 films in the series. Um, I just feel like, I mean, you're making 300 million at minimum.
yep,
Trust Scarlett Johansson's a solid lead. People like Jonathan Bailey now from Wicked, Mahershala Ali, always solid. So, or oh, the second one made 417. So there was a fairly big drop off from Jurassic World to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, but there wasn't much of a fall between Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. Just
yeah,
Dominion had the core cast from the original movie coming back, so that made 375 million. Um, but the fact that this is a soft reboot and it's not just continuing the stories of um, Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard gives me more faith that there will be a little bit more excitement from people who are getting sick of the movies just because. Oh boy,
all right.
this is the one I don't love. But I mean, I feel a little crazy not picking one of these movies um, that I know are probably gonna be your next 2 picks, but I just don't have much faith in either one of them. So I'm going to pick um, something that you have faith in, and that I think can cut the legs of Lilo and Stitch after a couple weeks, and I take How to Train Your Dragon.
Okay.
Um,
I did not think. I thought. I'm shocked, honestly. I thought I was going to get How to Train Your Dragon with my next two picks because I thought you were going to take one of the two
I,
movies that.
yeah, I just don't have faith in either one of them based on their previous iterations.
Wow.
I think people are tired of them. So I think between the that and then DreamWorks doing their first ever live action adaptation, it being something that features dragons, which is a lot more popular than it was even when this series originally came out, thanks to Game of Thrones and um, House of the Dragon. Ever since then, even though it's obviously targeted to a different audience, it's synced up with the launch of Epic Universe in Florida, which
Yep.
is going to be getting a ton of press. When it opens in May, it has it's a How to Train Your Dragon world. I think just a lot is open for it to have a strong opening in mid June and continue making money.
I mean, I built up my number one overall pick is this huge shocker, but I think I think this might be the huge shock of the draft, just not going with one of the two movies that seem superhero movies that seem like a safer bet. So yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I guess
definitely
I have trust in Universal's marketing. Um, so going all in on Universal so far.
okay. Fair enough.
Let them have them, Doug.
Yeah, I know you're making my next two picks uh pretty easy because they're the next two on my list. Probably the next two on your list. If I don't know, maybe not. Maybe you're so low on because of the trailers that you have them even lower. But yeah, I mean, I don't know that it matters what order because I kind of have them right around the same place. But I would say I'm gonna pick with my next pick Superman. Um, like you, I think the trailers are leave a little bit to be desired. Um, but Superman's a big property. Man of Steel did pretty well,
Is he
especially
a
if you
big
adjusted it.
property? Is he? Is he though?
I mean, he's considered like one of the biggest
Uh,
superheroes ever.
he is, but like, is he more known than popular with like audiences at this point?
I don't know. I mean, you have a older, you have I think younger folks are interested in Superman, especially he's gonna supposed to launch the new DC universe. I mean, Warner Brothers obviously has. I mean, this is like do or die for them with this new universe.
Yeah, that
Um,
is true.
James Gunn has a pretty good track record. I don't know. I mean, I just think,
I won't lie. I have
yeah,
Superman at number four. Also,
yeah,
I'm just not overly enthusiastic about. I have doubts about it, but I also
yeah.
could have just picked a terrible pick with How to Train Your Dragon. Do your other pick. That I'm pretty confident in what it's going to be.
Yeah. And then my next pick after that is going to be Fantastic Four First Steps. Um, I'm assuming this is what you assumed I was going to pick.
It
It's
is.
another movie that's basically launching. I mean, this is launching the next phase in my mind. I don't know if that's how Marvel's pitched it,
It
but
actually is.
okay.
Um,
So anyone that's interested, I mean, granted, Marvel, you know, there's superhero fatigue. I've got two superhero movies, but anyone that's interested in this new Avengers Doomsday, I mean, this seems like the movie that's going to kick that off. Granted, audiences aren't like haven't historically been in love with the Fantastic Four, but I just think being the kickoff movie that kicks off Doomsday likely has some sort of scene or setup for the ultimate showdown in this phase. I think could bring a lot of butts in seats. So I it's like Superman. I think there's some concerning things. Like I don't think Fantastic Four is the most exciting property that Marvel has, but I think it being a kickoff movie uh, for Marvel, I think does a lot, and I think the trailers to me have been stronger than the Superman trailers. But yeah, I know you've been low on the trailers, so I mean that
yeah,
may
definitely,
also explain.
definitely played a part. But I did have it at number five. But yeah,
Yeah, and I
its history, whether it be the two Fantastic Four movies in the 2000s or the one in the 2010s, um, diminishing returns for all three, box office wise. I think the only thing that scares me is like introducing Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. Um,
yeah
otherwise, I honestly the movie just looks like a retro futuristic version of Rise of the Silver Surfer, with a more like with a Galactus that is actually like the comic book. I'm gonna go with the superhero movie that I actually think looks good. Um, so I'm
Yep.
gonna take Thunderbolts. It is the summer kickoff film. The box office is kind of on a roll now. It's got a couple weeks to itself before um, Lilo and Stitch opens that Memorial Day frame. I mean, what does it have? 3 weekends to itself. So I do like that. Um,
It was next on my list.
yeah,
I'm glad I don't
but
have it because I don't want to be this far into the superhero movies, but um, yeah, I mean I think it makes sense. I think it's going
yeah,
to
I
be a
mean, you
200
burned
plus.
yourself a lot when it comes to superhero movies in the past,
Yep.
and not kind of seeing that the iron has not not struck, or I don't know what exactly the phrase I'm trying to think is. The iron's not hot anymore when it comes to superheroes, unless it's particular ones. But I think they've been nailing the marketing for this. It doesn't look necessarily like a straight up superhero movie. All right. Again, I'm going to go with someone else that I'm a fan of.
It's
It's
next
the
on my
other.
list.
It's the other Memorial Day movie. Um, Tracking is looking good. It needs to have a rebound from its previous installment, but I'm gonna take Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, um, with it being clearly marketed as the finale um, of a series that's been going for 29 years. It's gonna have IMAX and premium screens for a couple weeks, or at least IMAX for a couple weeks. Um, and doesn't have any direct competition the following week, unlike um, Dead Reckoning did with Oppenheimer. Well, we didn't necessarily realize it at the time, but just Barbenheimer took over everything, the entire industry. But it's got nothing like that um, in the following week, or even the week after, which is when How to Train Your Dragon comes out and is its own type of has its own different demographic. So yeah, um, another summer, another one where I take a Mission Impossible movie.
All right, for my next pick, I'm going to pick a movie that I'm not confident in any way, shape, or form about, but hoping, and I just it's more defense, and that I just don't want you to get it, um, just in case it is a hit, and that is Pixar's Elio. I don't think Elio looks great from the trailers I've seen so far, um, but it is a Pixar movie. Pixar is kind of a little bit of a hit or miss, especially as you start to veer out of their IP. Um,
Yeah,
but in
well,
case it's a hit,
they
I
haven't had
don't
too many
want it.
shots at non IP in a long since the pandemic, because they put so much on the streaming platform.
Yeah, I mean, Elemental is the last one that I can think of. I
Yeah,
mean that
and
that had
it legged
performed,
out.
yeah, it legged out. So kind of hoping for something similar um, would occur with Elio.
Yeah, I obviously had it in the my next four movies. Um,
Yeah,
it would have been crazy not to, because it is a Pixar movie.
I think for my next pick, I am going to go with F1.
All right. Was hoping you weren't going to do that, but you have to be a piece of shit and
I don't like it.
take
I'm
30
really worried
minutes to do
about.
your pick.
I really don't like F1. It was just
So then you
because
can unpick it and give it to me by all means.
I think it's got a higher potential than the others on the list. Is why I went with it. I think it's got a higher reward. It could be a bomb though and make under 100 million or 100 million domestic. So that's what worries me because I think there's other things here that are probably guaranteed 150 to 200. But just the high ceiling on F1
I mean,
as much as I'm
it's the only original that has potential to like break out this summer.
yeah. Yeah, F1 though feels more like an international play just because F1's racing. I think, in my understanding, is a lot more popular internationally than domestically.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's the director of Top Gun Maverick. It's not the same property, but I mean, I'm expecting it to be a you must see this in theaters type of movie.
yeah. No,
That's
I
gonna
think
have
you just got the movie that's going to win it for you. Ilio, I was not high on.
yeah. I'm not high
But
on it either.
you rebounded big time with F1. All right, well, you made my next two easy.
I
Going
know.
with
I think
20.
I know exactly what you're gonna pick too.
I doubt it, but I'm
Okay.
going with 28 years later and Megan 2.0.
Holy
Um,
shit! I did not
so
expect that at all.
doubling up on horror. Corey, uh, help me out here. Um, but 28 years later, it's got crazy viewership as far as its trailer count. Um, it's going to be coming hot off the heels of Last of Us season 2 on HBO. I think it's highly anticipated. Danny Boyle and Alex Garland returning to the franchise. Um, I think it has major like breakout sequel appeal coming 20 something years after the original. Um, so uh, that is why I'm going with that one. Megan made in 95 million. This seems like it's got potential to be a breakout sequel. Looks more comedic, more action than the first one. Uh, so I think it has the best chance of any sequel this summer to break out from its original movie. Blumhouse is due for a hit. So yeah, I think they were less obvious plays. I'm interested to see what you thought I was going to take because this is the point where things are no longer feel safe to me um, for one reason or another. But I'm very confident both of those two movies that I just drafted are going to be $100 million movies.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have them on my list in the $100 million plus section. I just there was a couple other movies that I thought um, could outperform them. I think my next movie on the list that I see potential with is Karate Kid Legends.
Yeah, I had
Um,
that fairly soon from this point on.
yeah, I just think um, that stupid Karate Kid movie remake. Um,
The fact that that was able to be successful.
that that made like a surprising amount of money, like $200 million, is kind of shocking to me. So that made me feel like I guess there's
It's
more in the
beyond
tank on
shocking.
this. Yeah. So this looks, this is kind of a combination of that. You've got the Netflix, you got Ralph Macchio coming back, and kind of like a blending of the worlds because I think it's like Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan are
Yeah,
together in this one. Um, I mean, it is a property that does feel a little older because the original Karate Kid, of course, came out a long time ago. So I'm kind of just banking on the fact that hopefully, like the Netflix show, got people interested newer or younger audiences to see this, and then just that this property will somehow succeed despite what's yeah, and just the other movie making $200 million is kind of how I got there.
yeah. I know the summer of 2010 was really weak overall at the box office. that one was probably helped with the fact that it did as well as it did.
Sure.
I'm kind of hoping that Karate or Cobra Kai just ending and then not bringing back the most beloved characters from Cobra Kai dings interest in this one. I mean, that's what I'm hoping now because you have it. Um, but that did go a little bit into my rationale behind where I put it. Um, and then, yeah, I don't think the 2010 one had really any staying power. Um, as, but people like Jackie Chan, um, if they like the kid that's in this movie, that'll play a big part because, I mean, you've already got Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. Everyone knows their characters at this point, or everyone at least knows, even if they've completely forgotten about the 2010 movie, they still know Jackie Chan very well, and they are obviously still fresh on Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso.
And then I'm going to go completely out of my order, which scares me a little bit. But I don't know. For some reason, I just keep leaning towards this movie, even though my gut tells me not to take it. Um, and that's Final Destination Bloodlines.
Um,
I it's
you've been high on this. I mean, it was on your most anticipated movie of like your top 10 of the year, so you have been high on this all year in ways that I didn't see coming. Um,
Yeah, I'm actually skipping like down my list to pick this movie. Um, I mean, it's projected at a $50 million opening, which isn't
Jesus
too bad.
Christ, that's
Uh,
that's crazy good.
yeah, so I just think it's got these movies haven't come out in a while. People have liked just kind of sitting down and watching people die in horrific ways with all the like crazy things that all happen to
Yeah,
result in somebody dying. So I'm just kind of banking on like audiences are like, we like this again and we want to see it and come out and see this movie. But yeah,
yeah, it does seem like people are excited. Have any of them
the
even
trailer looked
made
pretty good
much
too, I
more than
thought.
50 million total? I see one and three both made 53 and 54 million total. The fourth one made
Yeah, but
66. The fifth one
one, how long ago did one come out?
42. 2000.
So
A long time
what was
ago.
that? What was that adjusted for inflation?
I don't know, 100 probably. I would
Yeah, it's
imagine.
111 million.
Yeah, I had to figure it's double.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people may actually come out and see this movie, but I could be completely wrong too, and I could have completely whiffed with the reach here because
No,
it's
I
definitely a
don't think.
reach.
I mean, I
Because
didn't
I went,
know that it was supposed to open to 50 million. So I think just that alone, you're safe. All right. Well, then I will take from the world of John Wick Ballerina, um, because it's from the world of John Wick and it's got Keanu Reeves in it as John Wick in the marketing, along with some other, a few other returning characters from the series. Figure that
yep,
alone's got to make it 100 million. Ana de Armas, people like her. So I know they brought back Chad to come in and direct some action scenes to make the film stronger. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, kind of fills an adult gap in June in between like the big action spectacle in between Mission Impossible and I guess you can call F1 like the closest thing to like somewhat of a action spectacle. All right, then I'll go with. I mean, you're going with some 2000s nostalgia. I'm going to do the same.
I was hoping I could
Um,
get it back. God damn it!
yeah, I'm going to go with Freaky Air Friday.
Fuck, fuck.
Um,
That's the movie I skipped on my list. One of the movies I skipped on my list to go down to friggin' Final Destination.
yeah, I think this could be a generational nostalgia hit.
Yep.
between Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan returning, and you've got the young characters, the Julie Butters, and from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and the other, not sure of the other actress, but it's going higher concept even than the last installment. It's not the straightforward, just two people switching, but four switching. And yeah, I think there'll be a lot of moms taking their daughters to see it, um, and even grandmothers going as well, with their daughters and granddaughters that may have
Yep.
taken their daughters 20 years ago to see the first movie, um, or 22 years ago. So yeah, I'm happy to grab this one.
Um, all right. Well, this makes at least my next pick fairly easy because there's just kind of one on the board that I feel like is left in the safer realm, and
Okay.
that's the bad guys too.
Yeah, I would agree. That was the next on my list.
That's the last on my list before you go into like I don't know, trying to pull a lot of 50 million together. Um, because I'm not sure if anything here is going to make $100 million that's left. I
Um,
think that
yes, I would agree. This is the last thing that is probably the has potential to make.
bless you.
Man, allergies this time of year. Ugh, sucks. Yeah, what the first one made close to 100, right? 97 million.
Yeah, close to
And that
100.
it legged out big time during the spring of 2022. This one's got what, an August release date, so it's a little different, but there's not too much in August.
All right, and for my next movie, this could be really dumb, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to go with Weapons.
Not dumb. I had it at 17.
Okay.
I was hoping I would get it. You got the only two originals that I think can break out this summer.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other properties that are left on here. Barbarian was like, what, a 40-ish million dollar movie domestically. I'm kind of hoping because Weapons has a shared universe with Barbarian that maybe
God, I wish they didn't fucking
it'll.
announce that this past week. Otherwise, this would have been completely off your radar.
Yeah, so the shared universe thing kind of intrigues me about Weapons. So I think, and obviously it's Zach Kreger who had found success with Barbarian, and this is I'm assuming got more money to do this movie. So I don't know, we'll see, but I just think this has potential, and I want to kind of start racking up my horror movies because I'm at a deficit right now.
Yeah. Um, all right. Well, you kind of effed me there. Um, with
It's the
that,
goal of the draft.
it is. Um, I guess I'll go with another kids movie. Um,
I think I
I
know what
know
you're
that
gonna
it's
pick.
been diminishing returns throughout its series, but this is a reboot with Rihanna, so
Smurfs.
I feel like it could be a type of trolls type um, hit. So yeah, I'm gonna take Smurfs, which I'm not like thrilled about, but oh well.
Yeah, I had it higher as far as money that I thought I would make, but I didn't want. I just didn't want to have the Smurfs and have to root for that movie. So
Yeah, that's fair. I had it at 19, but I don't love my number 18. What I have at my list on number 18. All right. So do I go with my original rankings? All 18 picks that we've taken were on my list of top 20. We really have. have been on the same page, which was why it was helpful having Corey here for these drafts. Um,
Yeah, he was definitely the grenade that was thrown in that would always just mess everything up.
yeah, really fucking
Now,
missed that.
yeah,
Um, I guess I will go with here. Um, Let me go horror again. Um, and
don't
hope
do it.
and hope it does the a mini Scream reboot type numbers. Um, I think I know what you did last summer.
Yeah.
Um, you had that on your list too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can make money. I don't think it's going to make like 100 million, but I could see it
No,
like in the 50 plus,
I'm hoping it does
which
like a
is
75 ish that the first one did.
just kind of where I had Smurfs. Um, so yeah, I mean, I would have preferred to get that because I feel like it's a safer brand. You got the, I mean, I don't know if there's a pent up demand for this movie, but it'll get probably our generation potentially out to the theater.
Yeah, I mean that it's got a younger cast, and I didn't realize it's got an appealing cast. It's got one of the main cast members of the studio who I like a lot. It's got one of the girls from Glass Onion. So it's got a good young cast alongside like Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. returning. So um, yeah, hopefully it can be the horror movie of July because nothing horror is coming out that month.
Um, just because this is a movie that I feel like I want to root for. Um, Even though I feel like it's weird because like these, it's weird how much horror we're getting. I'm going back to horror. Um,
Okay,
it's weird how much horror we're getting.
trying to see what horror we got. Oh, I know what it is.
It's only because I want to root for this movie because I liked the movie that the creators made before this a crap ton. Did pretty well in theaters as well. I don't know if it's a shared universe or not. Some it may not be, um, but I'm going with Bring Her Back.
Yes.
Um, I just I'm kind of banking on that they're not one hit wonders and that they're gonna create a follow up. So it's kind of I also feel better about hedging my bets between Zach Kreger and this brother duo that did Talk to Me. I thought Talk to Me was fantastic. I have no idea if they're going to be able to follow it up or not. Bring Her Back looked kind of freaky when I saw the trailer.
Yeah, it looks a lot
Um,
darker, and that's saying something.
yeah, so it looks really, really dark.
It
So I don't
doesn't
know.
doesn't have the youth skewing look that the first one did. That are well, not the first one. Their first feature did. I
Yeah,
don't believe they're sort of a shared universe. I think that's a pretty unique thing. In
it looked like it could easily be a shared universe just based on how it looked. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's just like I thought they did a great job. I want to be able to root for them to do well at the box office, and I'm not seeing anything that's left that I'm convinced is going to be make more than it. So
yeah, Naked Gun was the one I had at 20. Um, More IP. It's fucking IP rules. But yeah, ultimately, I was like, comedy. He's so risky. But I do think that the Naked Gun has potential to actually um, break out with Liam Neeson, kind of doing a parody of the types of roles he's been doing for so long now. Um, but
yeah, I have that as interesting. I thought the trailer was actually kind of funny with Liam Neeson.
yeah, so
Um,
did I.
it's just the property is so old.
Yeah,
Like they're making OJ jokes in the trailer. I don't know. I mean, maybe the boomers come out for it, but I just like
I mean the property's less old than Karate Kid. but
But when was the last Naked Gun with Leslie
yeah, no, the
Nielsen?
last movie was a long time ago.
Yeah,
Um,
and Leslie Nielsen obviously is has passed away, so it's not like you're getting any like him back as an original. Everyone's got to be a child. Like Liam Neeson's supposed to be the kid of Leslie Nielsen.
yeah,
The other, so 20 was the last one, right? We've concluded
we've
the
concluded
draft.
our draft.
Yeah, so just kind of going over other movies that I thought were interesting that we didn't pick. I really thought Nobody 2 is really interesting to me.
Yeah,
The
it
first one
sort
didn't
of
do
just sort
well
of, but that's because of the pandemic.
because of the pandemic. So
I
I
don't
like,
know
I'm
what
curious.
the interest is. But then yes, I was. It was like right off my top 20 because I'm not sure if how I thought people were interested in it if they actually were because I was like $28 million. Um,
In the
from
middle of a pandemic, though, I feel like that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, but it was towards the what was it? It was in April of 2021. Um, it was like right when the box office was starting to pick up again. Like Godzilla and versus Kong just opened right around the same time.
Yeah, that sounds right. But and that was a day and date.
It's
Nobody.
March 18th for nobody. Godzilla versus Kong was March 24th, so the following week. And yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Godzilla vs Kong only made 100 million, so it wasn't like it was like a smash. But for pandemic
No,
times, like that was the first $100 million movie.
no. So that was the. I think like the other two movies I had on my list would have been Naked Gun and Nobody 2. After that, I don't really feel great about any of these. There's no way in hell you'll ever see
Part of
me
me
drafting.
wanted, part of me wanted friendship and to see if Tim Robinson will break out on the big screen. Um,
That
because
seems like a huge gamble.
because of the amount of movies that were coming out this summer, it was too much of a gamble.
Yeah.
Um, but like I could see it breaking out between him and Paul Rudd, and it gets laughs at like a lot of the movies that I see.
Yeah.
But again, it's also comedy. Um, what are some other ones that you? There are no other ones really that you were potentially thinking of.
Ones I had that I'll probably make money, just not a lot of money. I mean, Eddington with the Ari Aster movie will probably make like, I don't know, maybe 20 million.
Yeah, it's one where if we were going based on what looks like it has potential to be great as far as a
Yeah.
movie, it would have been nice to be able to pick. Corey totally would
Life
have
of,
picked it.
yeah. I thought Life of Chuck looks interesting, but like, because it's based on a Stephen King book, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything because he's written so many damn books. Um, and I have no idea what it's about. It looks like kind of gave me the existential dread that here her gave me. So I don't know what that means. Um,
Materialist feels like it could break out as a rom com based on
I
like
thought that too.
the three leads,
Pedro, Chris Evans, and
Dakota Johnson.
Madame Web.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
Um,
50 Shades of Madame Web. Uh,
I thought that too. I thought that could be that's like a high risk, high reward. Where I thought that looked like we don't really get a lot of rom coms anymore.
it's all the A24 movies that we're talking about at this point,
Yeah,
like Friendship, Materialists, Eddington. Um, but yeah, Life
and
of Chuck and Neon.
yeah,
It's
there's
just
no
like
way that I was gonna take the Phoenicia that stupid Wes Anderson
I mean, you
movie.
know that's gonna make like $30 million. Like if we knew movies were going to go that low, then yeah, it's totally like something to take. Um, but the goal is
I
that
can't.
all 20 of the movies that we take make more than $30 million.
Yeah, Wes Anderson is becoming like a parody of himself, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%.
It's
Um,
getting like ridiculous. It's like you can almost have like a AI create a Wes Anderson movie at this point.
yeah, I mean SNL spoofed it perfectly, like a decade ago, when Edward Norton hosted. But I mean, yeah, you know what you're getting with his movies at the box office at this point. let's just do a rundown of our top tens or our 10 picks, and then we'll call it a day. And then in our next episode, we'll wrap up the winter spring box office with the results. Um, so, Doug, we don't have names on here, but I know what they are. Doug, you have Lilo and Stitch, Superman, The Fantastic Four, First Steps, Ilio, F1, Karate Kid Legends, Final Destination, Bloodlines, The Bad Guys 2, Weapons, and Bring Her Back. Um, yeah, it's a solid top 10. I think you're probably going to win. The ones that the only ones that like I'm a little skeptical on were Elio with where you picked it as a Pixar original, and Bring Her Back. I just don't think it's going to replicate Talk to Me because with like the horror movie with Sally Hawkins in the lead. Um, but again, I did was talk down to Corey when he drafted Talk to Me um, in the summer of 2023, and he won that draft. And Talk to Me was a hit, so I very well could be wrong here.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm overall pretty happy with my with what I got in
You
this
certainly
draft.
got a lot of the safe picks. Um, I think I went
Yeah.
more off the beaten trail and more based on movies that I was in, like thought actually like movies that I wanted to see more, and movies I think are going to probably be better overall than what you take. But quality ultimately doesn't mean shit. I mean, Minecraft movie
Nope.
is
I've had
killing it.
I've had really prestige drafts before that have netted me no money. So I've learned my lesson on picking movies I want to see. But
Yeah,
as we got towards the end with weapons and the talk to me follow up,
yeah. I
I
was not
think
expecting weapons to be on your radar at all, so that was annoying.
yeah, I felt like nothing was gonna make huge dollars were at that point. So I was just like, might as well pick stuff I want to root for. Was kind of my thought. Maybe they'll make money, maybe they won't. But there's always a horror movie, at least one horror movie that breaks out. So just trying to put down my chips on some of the horror movies and hope I got one of them.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, me passing on both Superman and Fantastic Four could really bite me in the ass. But what
It
are you
was
gonna do?
ballsy. If you
What?
win and How to Train Your Dragon just like takes off for you, I mean um, that's gonna look like a genius move by you.
Yeah,
So
kind of wish I
it's
got
ballsy, but it
got the
could
number
play
one
out.
pick because then I know I would have at least gotten one of those movies. Yeah, well, as far as myself, I got Jurassic World Rebirth, How to Train Your Dragon, Thunderbolts, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, 28 Years Later, Megan 2.0, From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, Freakier Friday, Smurfs, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Um,
It's a really solid list.
it's a solid list of the fact that, like, yeah, we know what every movie is, like, because it's all franchise based.
Yeah,
So it sounds on paper strong, but I don't know necessarily how it's gonna do.
yeah. I
Um,
was really hoping that you would leave me Thunderbolts or Mission Impossible, so I was kind of annoyed that you took them both.
yeah, it's
Um,
like sorry, man, I'm getting the movies on that I think look good. the two
yeah,
the two action movies of the summer that really do it for me.
yeah. I had a feeling you weren't going to let Mission Impossible fall to me, and then I knew you're high on Thunderbolts, so I was like, probably figured that wasn't coming my way either. But
Yeah, I think you
um,
knew I was gonna take Thunderbolts based on how much I talked about it. It was just a matter of like when I would take it. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, if there's any pick that annoys me, like I had considered taking F1 over Mission Impossible, um,
you couldn't. I mean, that's too much of a
just
gamble.
because F1 has a higher ceiling. Um,
That would have been such a gamble, though. I think Mission Impossible is guaranteed to at least make 200 million plus,
I
probably
mean,
closer to 250 plus. Whereas F1 could be
I
like
don't.
a
Not
complete
one Mission
bomb.
Impossible movie has made 250. There's already been seven of them. I know, obviously, you could say with inflation, yeah, tons of them would have made over 300 million and 400 million. But
Yeah.
I don't know. They all seem to crest by you hit like around 220 to 230 max. Um,
We'll see. They're not gonna let the blunder that happened in Dead Reckoning happen in Final Reckoning. Like they're gonna get their IMAX. The IMAX is secure, and they learned. I think they learned their lessons. I think the only thing that scares me a little bit about it is that it's a sequel that they're trying to pretend isn't a sequel. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they handle
yeah, I
that.
mean,
And
you clearly have to see Dead Reckoning in order to see Final Reckoning, where you're not going. I mean, you could probably get away with it, but it won't be nearly as enjoyable.
I don't think, and I don't not sure with the marketing that they've made
I
that clear. So
Yeah, my guess is it's not like going to see The Accountant too without seeing The Accountant, or like any other type of like other action thriller type movie where you can be like, all right, like I can pick up on the premise. Um, Even if you've seen Mission Impossible like a, 1 through 6, you're missing a lot just from not having seen 7.
yeah, no, I agree.
Um, but yeah, I don't hate my list, but I do think F1 is the scariest pick. It brings back
Twisters.
PTSD of Oppenheimer, Barbie, one of those like picks right around after we do all the obvious movies, and then
Yeah,
it ends up being the one like that breaks out, or similar to like me picking Maverick in the past,
or
um,
Twisters.
or or Twisters.
That's the one that like I had PTSD on, and probably the whole reason I took F1 is I was like I can't let Murph have another Twisters again.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, Twisters was an IP, so it's not perfect, but Twisters was like the one that I thought had higher potential than a lot of other stuff, but I let fall to you, and so I was just trying to not let that happen again.
Fair enough. Um, all
But
right.
yeah, I mean,
Well,
I think I mean, it should be a fun draft. I think it feels like fairly even a matchup, and it'll just, you know, we'll have to see how it shakes out, but I'm hoping it stays close throughout the
yeah.
summer
Hopefully, it
just so
stays
that,
close, and it's really going to come down. It'll probably come down to if things break out and have if things really live up to like the brand name versus like what they've done in the past. Like if some of those ones that you took blow up, then I think I'll get blown out of the water. Um, and but if some of the one if they don't, and then mine perform to expectations, and some of them go a little bit higher, um, I could potentially win. But yeah, Lilo and Stitch Jurassic World, though, that's an interesting 1-2 punch, for the two of us. I don't. It's weird when there's 3 superhero movies and we don't take either one of them in our first 2 picks, or first 3 picks.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, we both threw some curveballs right to start. So all right,
yep.
we will. Throughout the summer, we'll report back on how we're performing. We haven't done that in a long time, where we've been regularly giving updates, on a seasonal draft. We haven't done that regularly since last summer, but we'll start that again uh, this summer. Maybe I don't know when we're going to record our next episode, which is going to be again, like I said, about the end of the winter spring season. But my guess is we may have Thunderbolts opening weekend by then, which, if that's the case, we can just start talking about it then. Um,
Sounds good.
and hopefully, we won't have any release date changes or any major things that affect the movies that we picked, because we are drafting on April 19th. There's plenty that can happen over just the next 2 weeks that make us go like, why did we pick one of these movies? Um, let alone throughout the rest of the summer. But all right, anything else, Doug?
Nope. Just looking forward to catching a lot of awesome movies this summer and hopefully
Make use
make
of
them
that
up,
A
both of
list.
us. Yeah, hopefully both of us are making movies make a lot of money, and it's just another interesting summer
Yeah,
draft.
100%. All right, then. That's a wrap for today. This has been Doug and Murph at Live Breathe Film, signing off.